everyone. Welcome back to the indieRift podcast. It's me, it's Steve, it's him, it's Andy, and we are back to talk all about the indie gaming news, reviews, and previews. What's up, Andy? How are you?
I played some indie games.
You did. You have quite an extensive list to talk about this week, I saw.
Yeah, the Steam Deck overfloweth. There's a lot of demos I put on there this past weekend.
Mm.
I gotta delete some shit too. There's a lot of stuff on there that I have no use for anymore.
I played one game.
I see that,
and yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later because
it's already talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the current state of that game than what I played at PAX. Like it's much bigger than that. Like, I'll explain when we get to it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the indieRift podcast, the internet's #1 indie gaming news, reviews, and previews podcast you ain't never heard of. Records live on your favorite podcast or service of choice. And of course on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@indieRift. You go over there, you could hang out with us on this show. But also we have two other podcasts. We have Dev Dive, a conversational podcast where we interview indie developers, and Dev Dive Side Table, where I interview indie developer tabletop game developers. So we could all hang out there, check us out, give us a subscribe, like our videos, share them with your friends, and all that fun stuff. And if you like what you hear and listen and you want to support us on a more personal level, you can go to patreon.com/indieRift, just like our Patreon producer, Colton, the Journeyman Nestler. You go over there and you get access to some bonus content, and you get to hang out with us in a Discord. Us and a lot of our former guests and stuff, developers and whatnot, are in there as well, hanging out, talking about games, talking about. We've grown very close. We have a very tight-knit group of people. So if you're looking for a cool community to hang out and talk video games, it's a really cool time. So you just go to patreon.com/indie-rift. Andreas, that's not the only indie rift going around. We also have more than I think we've had in a long time going on indierift.com.
I think consistent is the word.
Consistent.
There's been, since PAX East, consistent updates, a lot of previews, articles, and myself and Jimmy are just, burn the candle at both ends, just throwing our thoughts and feelings about some games that we really loved and enjoyed at PAX East a few weeks back. So hop on there. There's some great stuff to read. We did a really fun Metroidvania piece recently, highlighting 4 amazing games that we played at PAX East. And I did some news.
Yeah.
Some other stuff.
Threw some news up there.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yeah. A nice little I want to call it spice piece. We're going to call them spice pieces, where you gather an opinion based on something that has happened in the world, and you just throw it in a little article and then share it around the world just to piss people off. So I call that a spice article. So your indie game sold 2 million copies. Why are you still broke? That was one of my favorites that you threw up there. That was a good one.
That got a lot of reaction from people on Reddit. Because the developer, they thought he sounded a little whiny, but
it was factual.
He lays out like the economics of economics of game development from a publisher perspective, like what that end of it looks like,
right,
and why remaining indie is such a key piece for, I guess, financial success. If your game is, blows up and is, a huge hit.
Yeah. We could talk about this a little bit before we get into our indie game adventures. It's, we've interviewed, and you made a point to mention that in your article. You don't really cite any specific examples, but you mentioned that. I mean, we've interviewed over 400 developers in our career doing this. We've heard a lot of stories on air that you could check out. Go to youtube.com/@indieRift. Go to our Dev Dive playlist. There's a couple other playlists where we broke out some of the shows based on theme, but like all of our interviews for the last maybe 5 years are on there. There are plenty of guests that talk about how hard it is to actually turn a profit regardless of how popular your game is. Even some of the what you would consider massive successes commercially aren't necessarily massive successes financially, just because of some of the predatory deals that are out there with digital storefronts or even publishers. We've had those conversations over and over and over again, and now this person kind of like brings it to light and puts it on like paper. Like, here's the actual dollar values of what happens on a typical project of, you know, XYZ scale. And yeah, it was finally nice to see it kind of like in the open, so that you can have a little bit more of an honest conversation about what happens in the industry, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the best takeaway, is that it's a conversation starter. It's like no two stories in this industry are identical. I mean, like, we've had developers who work with publishers and they've had like sweetheart deals, and they're not nearly as gougy as some that we've heard about from our developer friends, who they can't even name publisher. It's like they're just, we don't want to even say
Yeah.
who it was specifically, but just seeing someone's own experience, and it's from the Ori developer. It's, you know, no slouch.
Yeah. I mean,
game scene.
come on.
Yeah, and they've worked with, you know, the biggest, like Microsoft, for years, and like them laying out the numbers of how
Right.
their sales worked out, and like how you can have a huge hit and not be sure if you can fund your next game based off of those game sales.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty important for like any aspiring or, you know, current indie game dev to kind of read it.
In the end, it was like the example they used, which was like a $2 million in sales, right? Basically they wind up with just over 10% of that as like a pure profit.
Yeah. After the storefront gets its cut, after the publisher recoups, like there's a recouping of their investment plus their cut of what's left, I imagine, of the profit.
And their recouping includes anything they put above and beyond what, like, they may say, we're giving you 10 whatever. Let's just say it's a,
I think it was 10 million.
I think it was 10 million, right? Yeah. He says, you know, you give your $10 million to make your game, but we're also putting $2 million in advertising on top of that. So that's not even like going directly to you developing the game, but that's part of the money that you have to recoup. So like you owe them 12 million before the game even comes out. And it's like, when you think of it that way, even if it's a small deal, even if it's a $50,000 publishing deal, right? And you're like, okay, maybe my game could sell 2,000 copies at $20, right? Like, you're not profitable. Like, you need to sell 5,000 copies, and even when you do that, you're still probably going to make less than a point. You know, if you sell $100,000 worth of copies, you already owe 50,000 to your publisher. You already owe, so in some cases, 30,000 of that to the digital storefront. So you're already like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, he's also quick to point out, like in the follow-up thread, how, you know, the publisher bears its own burden as well. Like, there's, of course, risk.
It's all risk.
Like $10 million. I mean, for Microsoft is like 10 cents to them.
It's a tax write-off for them.
Right. In a broader publisher sense, like, in that, you know, we work with, like, you know, PM Studios, you know, and to name, you know, a couple of publishers we've dealt with in the past, like, they can't just throw around $10 million like it's, you know, whatever to them. So like that gamble is also like a burden on the publisher as well. So it's good seeing, like, in the transparency a little bit, because I feel like a lot of those things are hidden. You don't hear about the actual, like, dollars and cents math of, you know, how these deals come about, and how it's a game that we know got wide critical acclaim and sold millions of copies and had a sequel and was on every platform, except for PlayStation, the Ori series. Still, like, on the developer side, couldn't, like, is our next game in question? Can we fund our next game with what little we may have gotten from all this when the dust finally settles? So
indeed,
again, good stuff.
Food for thought. The gaming industry is hard, and that's why a lot of publishers look for
making games is shit. Don't do it.
Don't do it. A lot of publishers look for games that are basically already done, like developers that have been using their own money to develop a game or whatever, or venture capital or like state grants or something like that.
Right.
To like, they have an almost complete game so that these publishers could come in and go, okay, we're just going to advertise it. That's all. The only risk we have is how much we want to spend to advertise. And like, those are like kind of those sweetheart deals that you kind of hear about. But I digress. Let's move into the indie game adventures. It's going to be a short indie game adventures this week because mine is technically a demo, and half of yours is going to bleed into our release report as well. Little sneaky. Well, yeah, I mean, it is out this week, like as of like a few days ago. So I think that counts as a release of the week. You know what I mean?
True.
But your first game on here is Blueprints. Tell me all about Blueprints. I'll read the description real quick because people seem to like that. I've had a couple of people mention that they like when we do the little Steam description before we talk about it or after. So it's welcome to Mount Holly, where every dawn unveils a new mystery. Navigate through shifting corridors and ever-changing chambers in this genre-defying strategy puzzle adventure. But will your unpredictable path lead you to the rumored Room 46? Tell me all about it, friend.
So Blueprints is a game that I kept hearing all about. It's on Game Pass, it's on PS Plus. It sold an amazing amount of copies, like I think 200K in its first week. So to me, that's like already great check marks. Like a game that's on a subscription service that still does really strong sales numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's something special.
There we go.
I was at my friend's house the last day of PAX East. I spent it at my friend Justin's house, he lives in Boston, and he was playing it. I said, "Well, what's the game all about? Like, I keep hearing about it. I keep seeing some screenshots. What's the actual? I know it's a roguelike. What's the premise?" So the idea is that I think it's your uncle leaves you this mansion in his will because you're his favorite nephew. I think that's the basic idea. But there's a stipulation. You have to find the 46th hidden room in the mansion. And if you find it, then the mansion is yours. That's the rule.
Yeah, that's cool.
So when you enter the mansion, you get a little blueprint. I think it's upon their blueprint.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about this game, and I forever thought they were saying blueprints.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first. I just put it two and two together that this is the game people were talking about. Anyway, continue.
So the roguelike elements is when you enter a room, and there's like multiple doors, like north, south, east, west, or the hell, and you go to unlock a door. A deck of cards show up, like little room blueprints, and it says like, do you want to put a bathroom here? Do you want to put a storage closet here? Do you want to put a observatory here or a library? And each room has its own unique perks. Some give you items, some give you steps. You only get 40, I think it's 40 or 50 steps. And if your steps
48 steps
go to 0, then you're done for the day and you got to restart the process again.
Interesting. So you got to like put your rooms together in a certain pattern so that you can try and get okay, that's cool. I like that.
Well, even if you backtrack, you're still losing your steps.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's the roguelike piece. And then there's hidden items, there's puzzles, and there's a chest you can break with an axe. And it's all funneling you towards the top of the map where this 46th hidden room is. I haven't made it there yet. Like, I'm trying to find the and I'm trying to see what the what's the progression of it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I know as you play and you unlock more rooms with different perks, they go into like your little catalog of things you can place later on subsequent runs. But I haven't gotten to the end just yet. But it's a very chill little roguelike game. You can see why it sold so well. It's got a very like subtle charm of it. A little bit haunting. It's you in this mansion by yourself, and as you're unlocking new rooms, you get a little bit of lore on your uncle, on things that have happened there in the past. You little documents and notes. There's all this. Like, there's a rich backstory about your uncle and his life that's buried in this mansion.
That's
if
very
you
cool.
want to find it.
I like that.
It's a very well made game. Again, I would urge anyone who has a Game Pass or PS Plus, get it, play it, you'll love it. And if not, buy it. It is such a rich experience. And it's, again, reminds me why I like roguelike so much, because it really hits that, okay, one more run, I can do better next time. I unlock like 2 or 3 new rooms. What can I get? Rooms have buffs and debuffs, like some add steps, some take away steps. There's like a poison element. There's all this weird, funky, trippy shit that's in the game. And I can't wait to keep digging away and see what else is in this.
Sounds like this uncle needed to get a job. He clearly had too much money and too much time on his hands.
Way too much free time on his hands.
All right, we're going to slide into the indie news report, which we start with the releases, new releases of recent times. And friend of the show, Kev, has released PaperKlay, which he had been building on Twitch, on his Twitch channel with viewers for years. Like, I want to say at least 3 years at this point. But PaperKlay is finally out. It's a classic 3D platformer with a tactile twist. Open, unfold, and rotate your way through a stunning world built with familiar crafting materials. Featuring the talents of composer Kirkhope and Malin from Banjo-Kazooie and Yooka-Laylee, and voice actor Kevin Miller of Sly Cooper. Our friend Kev is doing the thing. So you played it?
I love this game so much. We don't have enough good 3D platformers. And, while most of them kind of stumble into a collectathon, I don't mind it so much in a game that looks as nice as this does and feels as chill as this game does. It's very low stakes, very low pressure. It's all about just a chill vibe. And it's not that long. I want to say I finished it in like 2 days, like maximum. But it's just so well put together, and it's like you can see Kevin's like there's a passion that's like in this that the person that made it just loved putting it together.
Of
it. Like, it's just it's so charming. It's the kind of game that this is kind of sad and corny, but it kind of makes you wish I had kids, because I'd love to play this game with them because they'd appreciate it.
Yeah,
I just like it gives you like a sense of wonder while you're playing it too. So like, I don't know. I was like, it brings out wanting to be a dad to share that experience with the kiddo.
Watching that trailer, because I kind of went a little media black. I'm not gonna lie. Like I kind of wasn't paying, but I remember the early, like when he first started building this on Twitch. And I
prototype, he was like threw it together.
I remember when he first came up with like different aspects of like the gameplay of like flipping the world, or like I remember when he came up with the walk, just the waddle of the walk.
The waddle,
and like just how awesome that was. And then he put it up as like a GIF on Twitter and stuff, and like it blew up, and like
that's all it takes.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy for Kev, because that's fantastic.
You need like a game like this, like it lives and dies by like the character, like the main character, and like he found like this charming chicken character that just
Chick and Nugget.
You look at it, you look at it, and you can't help but fall in love.
Yeah, it's only $15, folks. You got no excuse. No excuse. All right, next on our list here is Pipestrello. Are you ready for the first Yoyo-vania? In this 2D top-down adventure, you'll explore a sprawling urban landscape, reinterpreting your surroundings through your mastery of yo-yo tricks. Navigate the city's many districts, fight rival crime bosses, and regain the influence of the Pipestrello family. Over here now. Andy, The hell's going on in this game?
So this game, like I discovered this game way back. I think it was last year's Steam Next Fest when I first came across this game.
That's why it's familiar.
It's got like super duper Game Boy Advance.
Oh yes, I remember this. Yeah.
That drew me towards it. It's like that top-down Zelda kind of experience, and it's got a really fun cast of characters. There's a yo-yo weapon, which takes me back to Star Tropics, one of my favorite games of all time on the Nintendo. Another, oddly enough, top-down Zelda-like game. And there's so many fun elements of this game, and I downloaded it recently, so I can't wait to play it. So likely this will be on my next week's indie game adventure, because it's an Andy game through and through, and you can tell by looking.
I think I would enjoy playing that as well. Pipestrello over here now. That is out now for $20, $19.99. It also has a demo, so if you're not sure, you could check that out. Download a demo. You know what I mean? Yeah, but if you want to play with a different kind of rodent, maybe you want to check out RATSHACKER, which I can't believe is a thing that's out in the world, but here it is. For the low price of $2.99, RATSHACKER is the fun and quirky solution to all your rat problems. Hold on to the rat, shake your arm, and watch life's problems disappear. How far can you go? Yeah, this was
Steven.
This is now released on, what was it? It's now out on PlayStation?
It's on Steam. When we talk about
PlayStation,
the must-have, the quintessential console exclusives, the defining games that really show us that the console wars are alive and well.
Yes.
This is the one.
Right.
This is the bragging rights of the PS5 owner.
Hell yeah.
Now, also friends of the show,
indeed,
Sunscorch Studios, who I've been waiting on Negative Atmosphere for what seems like a lifetime. This was a good in-between while they work on that game. Again, never thought this game would come from those developers. Those guys who are making like a better Dead Space game, more or less, gave us this gem. Blew up on Steam. I think I saw Markiplier playing it on Twitch. It reached that level. And when it gets to there, it finds a whole brand new audience. Sold really well. Now it's on PS5. I have a rat plush coming to my house in a couple of weeks, because why not? And it's only, what, $4?
$3 on Steam.
$3. Right. So I think it's got like some DualSense features as well for the PS5 release. And
the videos on Steam make it seem like two different games. Like, there's the one where you shake a rat, and there's one where you're walking in a very like analog horror game.
Right. So you can keep that thought, because we're having the developers for our next dev dive. We have them scheduled for Friday.
Fantastic.
To kind of see what
is happening in their brains.
What drug fueled, late night spawned the idea for this game. So I'm really excited about that. With this game's like sort of like core genesis, and where do you go from here? What does RATSHACKER 2 look like? We'll find out in a couple of days.
Indeed. All right, let's get into the news. We have a few things to talk about here. The first one here is Monster Theater Games, the developer of Atomic Owl, is entering publishing mode. What the hell's going on here, Andy?
Yeah, I was caught off guard when I saw this. So the game in question, let me just pull up the doc really quickly. The Dark Queen
of Morthholm.
Is, I think it's a roguelike with a twist. So the idea is you're playing as the last boss in a video game, and your main enemy is the main character, who they're playing, and every time you fight them and I think they beat you or you beat them, they come back stronger and they have more skills and better attacks, and they're learning like a main character, if you're playing as, is supposed to do, they're getting good. You're not getting good. You're just the last boss with all of your shit already, you're a fully cooked boss at that, but there's no progression that I know of. So really fun concept. And I saw this game a while back, and now our good friends at Atomic Owl are publishing this little gem.
That's
I
fantastic.
asked them to come on the show, and apparently, like, the developer is more of a hermit than the developer of Balatro, so getting him
Wow.
on the
Okay.
podcast may not happen.
That's all right. Can't
But
get them all,
open
folks.
invitation. Open invitation.
Open invite. Yeah, that actually does look interesting. It's like you're just sitting there in this room, and it looks like it got a little breaking the fourth wall. Like, are you just in this room forever?
There is.
Like, yeah.
And you know what? That's like a fun knockoff effect of when you have a really flooded genre like this, roguelikes. Like, you have to really be different to be noticed, and this concept alone is what I'm sold on, so I'm excited about this game when it comes out.
Totally. And to kind of like piggyback off of that, Atomic Owl has a release date. It's happening. Atomic Owl is a thing that's going to be happening. So that's all wonderful news. I forgot to put this in the if you want to talk about it, we can. But Atomic Owl, former guest of the show, another former guest of the show. I'm telling you, folks, we've done this a bit. But this game looks so fucking cool, man. It keeps getting like every time I look at it, it just looks better than it did before.
I want to say also, like, one of the best guests. We've had a lot of amazing folks on Dev Dive over the years, but like Elder is such an amazing human being.
Yeah.
So I would suggest to those listening, go back and watch that interview for two reasons. Or one reason is to listen to him and Steve geek out about Dark Cloud for like a good 5-10 minutes. So that was a moment. And like him and I, we still talk like nearly every day. He's an amazing human being. And his game is almost out, and his team is publishing. So it's all good things. I love positive stories like that in the industry, which we need much more of.
Gorgeous.
Lately, I feel.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah.
So finally got its release date. It's July 15th. It's only going to be $20 dues. So that is pretty fantastic. Sword of the Sea gets an August 2025 release date and a spot in the PlayStation Plus game catalog, Andreas. I don't know anything about this game.
So neither do I. But what I do know is this developer, I think their name is Giant Squid, if I'm correct in this. You can do a quick googly search while I continue speaking.
It's just
this is just part of a long-standing pattern / relationship with Sony that this team has. If I recall correctly, Abzu, and then their previous game,
Giant Squid. Yeah.
Pathless, which was, I think it was a PS5 launch game, was also on the PS Plus. Their next game, Sword of the Sea, looks amazing, and it's just coming down the pipeline. It's also gonna be on the old PS Plus game catalog. So good stuff. I like seeing that relationship like nurture and continue throughout the years. That's like, hey, we're here for you. Here's a satchel of money. Get your game on our service, and you're good to go.
Yeah, this feels like it fits right in the Journey universe, but it has like a little of all of their games.
Yeah.
Like,
and these guys always make great content. Like, I loved Pathless. I didn't play Abzu. I've heard good things about it. But this looks like it's my jam. So I'm excited about that come summertime.
Yeah. You ride a sword like a skateboard. And
I mean, what's not to like about that?
Bring green back to the world. Looks like you're bringing like oceans to deserts and stuff. Pretty cool. They always make good stuff. Very unique. They're very unique in what they can what they gamify. You know what I mean?
It's a game that when you look at it, you know it's one of theirs.
Yeah.
Like they have a very specific art style. You know this is a Giant Squid game. Like by looking at it.
Yeah. What else we got here? I missed that one. Giant Skull Giant Skull. What the hell are we doing here?
This they threw on here because
oh right, this is the one I put on there. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I forgot about this one. Yeah. So because yes, I edited it and I put it in the middle instead of at the end, and I forgot about it. So Giant Skull is a studio that was founded by Respawn veterans, and they're making a D&D game. How exciting. Very exciting. We don't know much about it, but if you go to GameInformer.com, you can find the article. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Details on the game itself are scant, but it's confirmed to be a single-player action-adventure title in development for PC and console. This is coming from a former developer of Star Wars Jedi and the God of War series. So if we can get some D&D, like, really strong... There are a lot of really strong characters in D&D, but, like, one of the biggest one is Drizzt. A drow... yeah, like he's in, but
his little double sword action.
He's always done dirty in video games. Like the games are always like half-ass AA whatever games. Like you don't really ever get that. Like, give me his story. You know what I mean? Like there's 100 books on Drizzt, but I want that could be dope. But I do have one small complaint. I feel like D&D is just anything in that universe is meant to be shared with friends. There's something about playing it alone that just seems dirty. You know?
All right.
You know, maybe if you have some kind of party like, with you, like a
Baldur's Gate co-op option, I imagine. Like you can squad up with people, but if you want to go it alone, you're more than welcome to.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're doing action adventure, so I imagine it could work.
Oh yeah,
it could work if they do a God of War thing where you have, or like a Last of Us thing where you have like one companion with you. You know what I mean? That you can, move around. But very exciting, as you know, I'm a big D&D nerd, so I'm happy about that. I don't know how I feel about this next one. Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement was announced. Yeah, because like still. Watching Bloodstained in motion still doesn't feel right.
Hold the fuck on, Charlie. Massive graphical improvement. You have to give it that at least. I mean, compared this to the first game,
I guess it's been a while.
Artplay and Iga have cooked with the sequel.
Listen, graphics aren't everything.
To your credit, when I saw this, one of the few things on the indie side that was like a wow factor during the state of play today for Sony, I knew it was Bloodstained. Like, this has to be Bloodstained. It's like this gothic castle thing going on.
Yeah.
It's a Metroidvania. It's 2.5D. This has to be the next Bloodstained. Dude, I'm on board. Like, the characters seem wild. It's a brand new cast. I'm not sure if any of the OG folks are involved, like character-wise. Castlevania historically has always had new protagonists in every game, different Belmonts throughout the years. So I'm thinking he's carrying that same sort of element to the Bloodstained series as well. So looks great. There's like these like over the top magic spells and like team up attacks and like dramatic camera angles and like
it looks like the storytelling is much more intricate in this. Like this,
there's the guy that's basically a Dracula stand-in at the end of the trailer. Because why not? But yeah, this looks really great. And yeah, we have Switch 2 now, so it won't run like ass on Nintendo hardware.
Oh man,
it launches on the. You remember we played at PAX East, the Switch build of this game?
Sure do. I sure do.
That shit was rough.
Yeah,
that was rough. I remember. This is a little sidebar. Our good friend Roberto, who went on to was at 505, then he worked for Square, and now he's doing some other company. I think he's no longer in the game industry. He was like, "I can get you an early copy, but it's a Switch build." No, thank you. No thanks.
Yeah, that did not play well.
I'm gonna wait until I'll wait till launch day. And I'll be good.
Yep. We have a spicy little news article here to talk about, which is always fun. This comes from PC Gamer. Most players know next to nothing about how games are made. New Blood developer sounds off on game dev misconceptions. This is no shock to us for multiple reasons.
Sure.
But yeah, Dave Oshry, former guest and friend of the show. He does not
famously ate a pickle
live on air. I believe he also urinated live.
No, that was the Postal 4 guy.
Oh, that was Postal. Yes. You're right. Well, did Dave also went on a balcony? Was that right? Was that Dave?
Yes. I think he walked onto a balcony.
Yeah, walked onto a balcony in the middle of California or whatever.
I can't take this interview at the end.
But we'll get a couple of quotes here out of the article here. Pulling no punches as usual, New Blood CEO Dave Oshry said that most players, quote, know next to nothing about how games are made. Adding that game development teams have more in common with film and TV production than you'd think. Quote, with the exception of solo devs, games are an artistic endeavor that require the cooperation of handfuls, dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of people at once working together to create interactive art, Oshry said. Quote, you can put all the great programmers, artists, animators, and sound designers you want in the same building, but that doesn't mean they can make a great game. Great games are made by great teams that work great together. It helps when they're all friends. That's it's weird that, so I've worked in very briefly worked in game development and very briefly worked in film production, but I also went to school for film production. So like I kind of know a little bit more about like that. It is wild how many different people from different corners of the world are independently working from each other, and then you bring them together, and then it's somebody's job to like make sure all these pieces kind of come together. Like, and that's not even including outsourcing certain things. Like, you know, most of these AAA games that we see will outsource tons of different things like background art or you know, some elements of sound design or QA or stuff like that. And you're looking at, you'll hire a team that has 200 QA people on it, and they're not even really your employees, but that's like another 200 people that are in charge of some aspect of your video game, right? Like, it really is a lot like film, because film, you know, the graphic designers or the people who are doing all of the visual effects might not even see a single frame of the movie while they're working on certain aspects of the creatures and whatever sort of development that they're doing. They may not even see that, but they have like somebody communicating it to them. This is what it looks like. This is how we need it to move. This is whatever. And then like it all kind of comes together at the end. And, you know, like it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with VO, and video games forget about it. The VO, you have people in booths all over the world recording dialogue for one game. Not everything is like Naughty Dog, where, you know, you have a capture studio and everybody's doing live capture and audio and like all that stuff. That's more like a movie, but like a lot of video games are made with people. Our friend Patrick Hickey Jr., right? He records from his home. Like, there are games that have 30, 40 actors that are all recording from their homes. Like, home studios are not uncommon in the industry. And like, how do you direct that? How do you get a scene to work between two people who aren't in the same room? There's a lot. And I think Dave hits it on the head where, you know, if we saw more of what goes into this sort of situation, I think there would be a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more respect thrown towards especially indie developers, I would say.
Yeah, I think like one of the main thrusts of this piece came from a much larger article that was asking a bunch of developers like what's like a large misconception about game development that you feel gamers are saying as opposed to what your reality is. And I think it was a quote from the Helldiver CEO saying
Oh
how
yeah.
like
Yeah.
an expansion from them, like people think they just like poop them out. It's that easy. But it's like this is like 6 months or longer of work for
Yeah.
like what you feel is a fast and easy expansion that doesn't seem like a lot of work to you. Like this is like it's months of nonstop grinding for what people perceive as a small little expansion. Like
I mean,
again, it's for a live service
yeah.
game because you have to always constantly update. It's like they can't just like squeeze it out like a rapid fire. It is all these things take time, and
Yeah.
people that's a huge issue. People think that you just fire things out like it's nothing, but it's like this. It's a huge effort to
And
get this thing
we've been
done and
guilty
made.
we've been guilty of accusing, not accusing, but like we've been guilty of being a little shitty about stuff like, oh, clearly you've been sitting on part, like when a game comes out and it doesn't feel complete, and then all of a sudden 3 months later there's a DLC and it's like, why wasn't this in the game or whatever? Like we've been guilty of like talking like that a little bit as well, but
Mhm.
yeah, obviously we know a little bit better now over the years, but like live service games are almost a completely different animal in
Mhm.
just in general. Like they are not atypical video game development. They are
Right.
very much its own genre, its own industry almost. Like you're not creating a video game, you're creating a society that revolves around your video game. And like you look at No Man's Sky, right? Like No Man's Sky,
Yeah.
the
That's been
fact
out for over 10 years
10
when that first
years,
game was launched.
10 years,
Gotta be at least 10 years.
I think we're close.
We're getting there.
Another DLC or I forget what they call them, update is coming out. And when that first came out, it was like, where's the game? You didn't do anything. What that, like, why are you adding all this stuff like later or
Why
whatever?
wasn't this ready at launch?
Yeah. But you like,
Yeah.
do you not understand you don't, but like the foundation that this game was built off of is even more impressive to me since all of these DLCs and add-ons and expansions have come out, because without a incredibly strong and intricate and well thought out base, none of this would be possible. Like you would have to rewrite the game basically to get half of the shit to work, but they made something that was so like meticulously and purposefully put together and created this, basically created their own world, and now are playing and building in that world and giving you more tools as you're playing in this world. I'm sure you've seen the clip. I don't remember what podcast it was from. It was maybe a Joe Rogan. I don't know. It's just like one of those shorts that comes up of some guy talking about No Man's Sky, about how if you put AI into No Man's Sky, there's no discernible way that you can tell if that AI thinks that that's a real world or not. Like there's no possible way, because it's a infinite amount of planets, basically an infinite amount of possibilities. And if you put this alien with artificial intelligence in that thing, there is no way you can discern whether or not this is reality for that alien. And that's like wild to me. But yeah, to just bring it back to the conversation, it's like games are really hard, and it's not hyperbole. It's not a joke. They're really, really hard, and they're only going to get harder as the technology gets better. Which is a weird sentence to say, but like as the tools get more intricate, there are more parts that need to be, you need more experts. That's really what it comes down to. Like you need a lot more experts in various facets of game development these days. Like talking to Cyberlich developer Pete, like he's doing like 4 jobs for that studio. The studio's only like, I don't know, 6 people, but like,
right. Well, that's part of the indie dev world. You have to wear like so many hats because you can't hire like individual roles because money is going towards making the game.
Right. And what's his like main thing is animation. Like that,
right.
that's what he's an expert at, but he's also doing, design, and he's doing, other shit. So like, yeah, there's a lot going on. Let's slide into the demo derby. Brr, brr, brr. These are game demo impressions. But before we get into that, we're just going to let everybody know that Steam Next Fest is coming soon, June 9th to June 16th. So there's going to be a shit ton of demos. So gird your loins, because we're going to be busy. We are going to be busy. But this week we have the game that I've been playing all week. First, it's a demo that I've been playing. It's kind of I think it's an invited demo because they gave me a code to download it. So I assume that the version I have is different. I don't know. I could be wrong.
This is like the pre-release of their Next Fest demo.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
each, like a code for like.
Okay, cool.
Play it now before the updated demo hits in a week or so.
Okay, hopefully I'm allowed to talk about what happened to me in this game, because I mean it was pretty cool. So I talked about this the last show that we did. This is a third-person adventure game with some town building aspects to it. Very whimsical, all magic and stuff. And again, it harkens back to like my love of Dark Cloud, where it's like you have this world that's fractured and you're kind of piecing it together and you're giving people like hope and a place to live and everything.
On this fucking podcast.
I know. Let's do it. Dark Cloud, where are you at? So I was playing the games, right? And I got a little further than I did at PAX East, and I'm playing and whatever. And this like flash happens, and one of the citizens that you or whatever people that you sort of took in, you take in these 3 people. They I'm not sure if I think they're all siblings or something, but like they come in together. They're from not your group, but they find you and they like join your group to like help you build your society, right? So they come in, and one of them falls ill to like this weird attack that happens, and a little blip shows up that it's like there's a cutscene, whatever, like find 15 of these flowers so that we can make the antidote to his affliction. So cool. So in order to break down these vines that are blocking you from like this new area of the world, you need to build certain things. Like I needed to harvest rocks so that I can make stone blocks, so that I could then make the rune building, like the rune shape carving building. And then after that, I can make a rune that could cut those vines down so that I could go to that next spot. At least that's what I thought I was supposed to do. But so we're playing, right? And you have energy for the day. So like you could help your we'll call them meeples for now, but villagers. You could help your villagers do their tasks by doing them yourself, but they cost time and energy, and you could become exhausted. When you're exhausted, you can no longer do that stuff. So the only way to get your energy back is to then go to your hut and sleep, and you start the next day. So I'm like, I need stone. I need a lot of stone. Cutting and harvesting stone takes a lot of energy. So like I'm doing it. Sleep, next day comes, I'm doing it. It's great. I'm almost there. I'm about to build the rune thing, and the next day happens. And it cuts to the other 2 are pissed at you because you said you were going to get the flowers, and now their friend is dead and you didn't do it. And they fucking burned the village. They burned the village down, and I got a game fucking over.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And it was like I got the shitty you failed this game ending, and I was like, whoa, I had no idea that was even remotely a possibility. I'm sitting there fucking harvesting stone, just taking my sweet ass time, but now
flamethrowers lead to someone dying?
Because you needed to give him the antidote. He didn't have time to live. He only had 2 days, 2 in-game days, but you don't know that. So like, I'm more hype about this game because how much more of that stuff is going to be sprinkled throughout this game. If within
dying and slow agonizing death over 2 days, and you're just like whacking away at some rocks.
I thought I had time. I'm like, this spot is blocked. I can't go past this area until I do these things, and these things that I'm trying to do take time. So I'm like, so now I'm like looking at this game a little differently. I'm like, okay, a good chunk of this game is going to be the resource management and people management, because people are good at like 4 at most 4 of like different actions in the town. So like, you need to move them around. You can't just park them in a place. Like, that's what I was doing. I was like, I'll have one guy chopping wood. I'll have one guy making planks. I'll have one guy working the storehouse. I'll have one guy working the stone thing, or one guy be a mason, and everybody will do their thing and everything will be great. It's like, no, I had to get everybody on the whole mason shit because I needed to make the goddamn rune cutting factory or whatever. Like but I didn't know. So I'm excited to see how they play with that. Because like, seeing him all pissed off, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it fades to red and the fucking village was on fire. I was like,
it makes me okay, that's another leap. Was this guy like the town like fireman that died and he couldn't put the fire out? Like,
no, his friend burned the fucking village down.
So wait, out of a grief?
Yes, he was mad. He was angry.
No one gets to live. You all get to die.
Correct. He was so mad.
Burn the village down.
He was so mad. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
You. If you fucked up, you should have died.
I mean,
should have come after you.
Technically, I did, right?
Yeah, you didn't get the flower.
I don't see. Hold on. Where can you see your latest achievements? Okay, here we go. Achievement progress.
Slaughtered. You were like pounding on some rock half the day.
Roker's revenge. Suffered the consequence of ignoring the sick Caser, unleashing Roker's wrath for his brother's death. That was his
brother.
That was the achievement I got from fucking up.
I burned a village down if someone killed my brother because they were out like macing some stone.
One last thought on the game, just to keep it honest. The game does not run well. Like, it runs well when you're playing, but all the cutscenes are like stop motion. And I did like they have like a built-in stress test. And I did it and it was fine. Like I was playing on ultra, then I even lowered it to high. Obviously this is a demo. It's probably quite a ways off from release, but like, that worries me a little bit because it is very ambitious. So I just hope that they can nail all that stuff down, because the actual moment to moment gameplay is very smooth. So I'm hoping I could, and I hope there's more like to explore in the world as well. But I still have to play more of it because I didn't even unlock that other area where the stupid flowers were. So I still need to do that. Andy, you played Phase Zero. A grotesque illness binds the town of Flint Peak. 2 survivors try to escape with their lives as mysterious creatures roam the streets, face horrific monsters, solve puzzles, and escape the town in this classic survival horror. Can you make it till dawn? Andy, how are you still finding new of these games?
So, what year did Resident Evil come out? New of these games.
96.
Okay, so and how old were you in 96?
10.
I'm not good at math. You were 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay, so 96 comes out. Resident Evil comes out. You're 10-year-old Steven.
5th grade.
And let's say I'm not sure on the timeline. Let's give it 2 years. Games didn't take that long to make back in the day. You're now 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit you down. I say, here, Steve. Here's Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you played this game, you would say, yeah, it's Resident Evil 2. This game, it's not that it emulates like that PS1 era survival horror like look.
Yeah.
It is like almost identical to how the character models in those games looked, moved, acted, how they're animated, all of it. The way the zombies shuffle around, the way the headshots work. There was one point I was playing this demo, like, you know what this needs? It's modern times now. It needs like the old school, like first person door opening loading screen. There were
Yeah.
map opening screens back in the day. Who wants that? As I'm playing the game, it happened at one point. I was like, and there the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So it's really neat. It's a nice slice of, again, and I love these old school like PS1 kind of throwback graphics and gameplay. Tank control heaven. Really fun. There was a really great puzzle that I want to mention. It's there's this like giant flesh monster on a gurney that's missing a wheel.
Yeah.
There's something in its body that you need.
Gross.
You did an X-ray on it, and it has some sort of crank or a wheel. Typical,
Yeah,
the
a
most
gear.
typical Resident Evil item, a crank for an elevator or a shaft or something. So there's an MRI machine like not far down to the hospital.
I know where this is going.
You wake up, you're all bandaged up. So you walk into the room, and then right away, gun, your ammo, and your health kit get just sucked into the machine.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's on. It's got magnets, and you can't carry your fucking shotgun and your bullets through here. So you have to go into the room now unarmed, and there's a zombie in there to turn off the MRI machine. So you do that. Okay, turn that off. Go reclaim your gun, your ammo, and there's the missing wheel was also attached to the machine. Got that item.
Yeah, you did it.
Attach back to the fucking blob monster. Attach the wheel. You roll in the gurney down the hallway.
I know where this is going.
Zombies pop out. You shoot them all up. Cool. He's in the machine. Now you got to go back and turn it on again to extract the mysterious crank from its corpse. And I love how it prompts you, like, is the patient comfortable? Is the patient in a good position before you like turn this machine on? And right when you hit yes, it explodes.
Yeah, hell yeah, it does.
Glass shatters, blood everywhere, lights off. You walk out. There's like this corpse, guts, and your little crank is just hanging out.
Yeah.
You grab that crank and you go about your way.
Yeah.
That's
very clever.
It's so old school. It's so pure and simple in its execution. It's not trying to be anything special or different. It's like it's taking the old school survival horror formula and like kind of like looking at it through a modern lens, but still keeping the same visual stylings of, like, again, it looks great, feels great, graphics look a little crisper, a little nicer.
It looks like purposeful, like pixelization. You know what I mean?
Characters' hands are this.
Yeah.
Your hand when you gesture. Just one.
I'll be fine. I've got this.
Let me hand you this key.
We were almost a Jill sandwich.
Blood. This is Chris's blood that I know for some reason by looking at it. This should have had him taste the blood. That's Chris's blood.
Yeah,
I know that blood anywhere.
That's Zambi blood. Let's get into the wish list roundup, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we go a little bit quicker in this segment. We're going to show you some games that came across our either Steam page or emails or whatever we found on the internet that we think are really cool. That are coming soon or a little ways away, but maybe something you want to put on your wish list. The first one on this list is staying in the survival horror or horror genre. AO Containment Breach is a procedurally generated level building, semi-auto battling roguelike horror hybrid. Look at those words. That was a lot. Fight and contain AOs as you travel through the Terra AO facility during, quote, dives. Scavenge for materials to craft unique weapons and upgrades. Coming in Q3 2025. This one looks okay.
I came across at PAX East. It's funny, actually. I saw this game was in passing, and I scanned the QR code and went to a different game. The dev was like, "That's not my game." I was like, "Let me try that again." That's weird. But yeah, I love the art style, the first-person perspective. hits all the points, so I'm into it. So it's on there for a very obvious reason.
Yeah, you just like to have the hair on the back of your neck stick up a little bit.
I do.
It's got that old school dungeon crawl to it.
It does, yeah.
Like it. Very cool. So throw that if that's your bag, throw that on your list. Speaking of bags, the cat is out of the bag. Cat secretary, ladies and gentlemen, keep your job by day. At night, sneak around the office and solve your colleagues' problems. Who's a good cat secretary? You are. Yeah, you are a cat sneaking around and you are doing tasks for the people that work in that office. This is like that content creator, Good News Daily or something like that. Like the woman Jen, who like tells heartwarming stories, and there's always that like one story every now and again of like the stray cat that's brought in and given like an official name tag and job description, or like becomes the mayor of a town. Like there's always that shit, and I'm like looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is like a play on what would happen if this cat actually worked here. And like there's you see it on the screen, there's like a business mouse walking around, you got a little tie on, and yeah, you're just solving your coworkers' problems while they're not there. And it's with like little mini games and stuff. It's very cute.
This was at PAX East. That's why I threw it on here.
Yeah.
Such a sweet little game.
Throw that on your wish list and smoke it. I'm putting it on my wish list. This next one actually came across my email this morning, and I thought it looked really cool. This is called Never's End. I just want to read this one little blurb here. Never's End features character designs by somebody you might know, Andy. Masayoshi Nishimura of Final Fantasy, Octopath Traveler, Project Triangle Strategy.
Those are certainly games that I know and love.
Yeah, and character designs you know and love. Composer Dosun, I don't know how to say that. Doswan? Is it just Doswan? Okay, it's like one word. Doswan from Enter the Gungeon, and is directed by Ryan Juckett, lead sandbox gameplay design for Destiny. So this looks cool. Never's End is a turn-based tactical RPG where you return from death into the midst of a global cataclysm. Possess townfolk to use them as living weapons, wield the forces of nature to reshape the battlefield, and lead mankind back from the brink of extinction. This looks really cool. I don't know if you saw this before I put it in our Discord. By the way, if you go to patreon.com/indieRift, you could join our Discord and get all of these games that come across our list before we talk about them. This looks really good. Tactics RPG. The animation looks absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, it's all in the character progression. So we'll see what that is. But I think this looks awesome. So and I'm a sucker for these like tactics games. I think they're so much fun, and I have a new appreciation for them since getting into like CRPGs with Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff. So like this feels very Dungeons and Dragons-y. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous game. So throw that on your wishy list, folks. Do you like video games? Then add this really cool one to your thing. Believe it or not, Andy's got more horror for you to enjoy. This one's called Summer Camp. Survive in the campgrounds around the fictional lake camp during the 1980s. Where have I heard that before? Or you may be the slasher himself. Unlike usual horror games, experience party-like unlike usual horror games, experience party-like game. That is the sentence.
Great. No, that's how you do it.
No video here. Coming soon from Summer Camp Developers is the name of this developer. I'm just going to show you the slides, ladies and gentlemen.
Even
just
better
so
name.
You can actually, you can't really see the slides, but that's okay. We'll show them here. That is definitely a boat and a dock. That is definitely a canoe and a river. And that is definitely a bad guy.
Walking around. So, again, obvious why this game is on the list. I'm a huge Jason Friday the 13th fanatic, and because that game died due to stupid lawsuits over rights and who owns what, this is the next best thing we're gonna get. So, a very scrappy team has taken upon themselves to sort of create the next iteration of the asymmetric horror game. Very much inspired by the Jason Voorhees and the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
So it's on the watch list. I mean,
we'll see what
the right boxes. But I'm definitely intrigued by this project.
Yeah, and they actually have a really cool thing called sandbox mode that they're promising to, where you can just freely explore the campgrounds as either counselors, whatever, and you can just kind of like hang out. That has more value to me, I think, because how cool would it be if like all of indieRift kind of just hang out and you're all counselors, but one of us is a killer, and instead of making it like gamified, it's just the killer trying to scare the shit out of all of you. Like go about your business, and I'm just gonna skulk around, and I'm just gonna like just try and kill you all one by one, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know if that's allowed, but yeah, but no gamify, no trying to escape, just fun, just, you know, good old fashioned running around fun. Cool stuff. This other one came into my inbox today as well. Fallen Tier, The Ascension. This game looks incredible. Fallen Tier is a combat and exploration-driven 2D animated metroidvania. Find fated bonds to help you on your journey as you fight and free beasts and gods alike. Discover hidden paths, secrets, and challenges as the world dynamically transforms in response to the player's actions. This is coming soon. I already wishlisted it as soon as it came into my inbox because holy hell, this game looks incredible. This has got Constance vibes, but like a little bit brighter and faster.
I just love how it looks, man. I love the graphics on this thing.
Yeah, it looks
got
like
a really killer art style.
Looks like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh yeah, I'm so into it.
I'm just gonna watch this for a little bit while our audio listeners are just kind of just hanging out. No, this looks great.
Admire the game footage.
Yeah, Fallen Tier, The Ascension. Absolutely put that on your wish list because that, I mean, especially if you like Metroidvanias, but this looks like it's going to scratch that action itch as well. Damn. Whew. Sometimes a video game comes out, Andy, or just, you know, we just see it and we're like, well, I need that.
You just know right away, man.
Give that to me.
That's like a lot of the stuff you cover here. It's all like, it just, that first impression just gets us. A lot of these games we talk about are just that first impression. Yes, this is a yes. It should be a yes for everyone.
It's a yes. Speaking of a yes, anytime Team 17 puts something out, it's a yes for me. Publisher Team 17 got that cozy shit on fleek, as the kids say. Ritual of Raven.
Stop it.
Ritual of Raven is a story-based farming sim, but you don't do the farming yourself. Enchant arcana constructs to grow a magical herb garden, befriend a cute bunch of weirdos, and use your witchy skills to perform powerful rituals to stabilize the portals that are causing trouble for the village. This does look cute. Our friend Radzi, who is gonna love some farming. So yeah, you just make it's basically like Merlin having his lab clean itself up in Sword in the Stone. You know, singing the song and everything kind of doing its thing. But yeah, you could automate your cauldron to make potions and stuff.
Fantasia.
What's that? Fantasia.
Like Mickey Mouse.
Oh yeah, well you're constructing, or orchestrating, But yeah, very cute, and you know, fans of that genre are gonna eat that up real good. They're gonna eat that up. Nom 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 nom. Delicious. So throw that on your wish list. And finally, this is the third one that came into my inbox today that I saw.
Just so everyone knows, Steven checked his email today. That's what happened.
So when we make the doc is usually when I start going in through and I go back. So I had gone through my emails when we were going to record this show on Monday, right? Monday. Yeah. On Monday. And I didn't really find anything that was piquing my interest. But today when I checked my email, 3 games came up. I was like, oh, these look really cool. The final game on our list here is Gunstoppable. Dual wield devastating weapon combos in this momentum fueled roguelite FPS. Chain movement, stack every upgrade, and bend time to overpower the odds in style. And of course, I had to tell our friend Mr. Nuff, aka Matt, all about this because this does look really cool. This is a boomer ass shooter, but fast.
Yeah.
Even faster. Hell yeah. Look at that, shooting robots and stuff. Very cool. It's got a lot going on screen. But check that out. That is Gunstoppable. Yeah, add that to your wish list. I know I did.
Add them all.
Gotta add them all. Add them all. Do we have a steal of the week? We did have,
Yeah, the Rat game.
Yeah, Ratshacker was only $3.
Rat game, guys. Go buy Ratshacker, $2.
Ratshacker? Ratshacker. Kickstarter of the week, Andy.
Yes.
This is where we peruse Kickstarter and we find something relevant to our interests. What's on your Kickstarter of the week?
We have not a game.
Not a game.
Oddly enough.
Talking about practice, man.
We have the NES-ENTIAL celebration, the 40th anniversary tribute book, a 300-page love letter to the NES featuring rare stories, stunning art, and exclusive extras. It's got 27 days to go, so it launched not that long ago.
Yeah, a couple of days.
For a $4,000 goal, has already reached $81,000.
$81,000 dues.
Clearly happening. I mean, the NES era is why I fell in love with games. It's my intro to games for a lot of,
Oh, I love the cover.
Yeah, it's the old gold Zelda 2 card.
How
going
awesome
on.
Is that?
I reached out to the guy running the campaign, hey, saw your project. You should come on the show and we'll talk about it and promote. You got a good 4 weeks to go. We can discuss all the little tidbits. He says to me, I wouldn't be a great guest. I think I'm kind of boring. And I was like, bro, we're just gonna talk about Nintendo games for half an hour. we're not talking about your life. We're talking about fucking Nintendo games. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we've talked to authors before.
We'll cover. Yeah, we have several times.
Patrick,
we'll cover you.
Talking to you, bro.
But yeah, but the main thrust will be just the Nintendo games we know and love, which ones they're highlighting, and what what are some of the rare stories that you're going to feature in this fun little.
I want to see if people had as strange an introduction to weird games as I did, because my grandfather every once in a while I would go to, was it Funkoland or whatever, before they were gobbled up, and he would I want to get games for the Nintendo so the grandkids could play when they come over, something new. And I remember one time he came home with 2 games. One of them is I guess revered as a classic. It was World Cup Soccer. It was the one the River City Ransom sprites, but they play soccer.
Yeah. Sure.
Fucking awesome game. Awesome game. The other one was this game called Worms, WURMZ or some shit. And it was the most, it was so obscure. He had to have bought it because it was $8 probably. But I want to know about those games.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the things we've lost, I mean, granted, you and I, we always come across games that we wonder, how did I miss this, or how did I not come across this game sooner? There's so much. And we're in the indie scene, so there's so many games you potentially miss trying to cover this one corner of the gaming industry. But one of the things I miss growing up as a gamer was going to like the neighbor's house,
Mm-hmm.
like seeing what their library was of like Nintendo games, and like discovering things that you would never have found unless you were in this kid's house, looking at the games that they owned. Like my library was built on games that I borrowed from my classmates or the neighbor kids when I was younger.
I actually have Worm. It's called Worm, WURM, Journey to the Center of the Earth. It is $60 on Amazon right now.
But will they cover Kickle Cubicle in this?
Yes, Kickle Cubicle, another one of Grandpa's buys, which for some reason we had two. I don't know why. I don't know where both of them came from. I think one of them came from Grandpa going to Funko Land. I think the other one we might have already had. I don't know. I have no idea. But that's the stuff that I miss. Like, and that's what the Steam store is, you know?
It is, yeah. It's like that's your friend. That's the neighbor down the block.
Yeah.
That's your cousin. That's like your bestie in homeroom. You know, that's the same energy. But yeah, it just takes me back like the NES days, and this is such a beautiful presentation. I love the sleeve, the actual gold cartridge.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's awesome.
It's a really nice coffee table thing, and I want it.
Retro Game Club throwback. Everybody play Worm, Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's an action adventure game released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1991.
Retro Game Club.
Remember that? It features a variety of gameplay styles, including side-scrolling, vertical shooting, and first-person shooting sections. The player controls Moby, the leader of a research team who must venture deep into the earth to discover the cause of strange phenomena and rescue her father. The game combines elements of role-playing and arcade-style action, with the player changing the worm vehicle form to adapt to different environments and enemies.
I was like, what are you reading? The book is not a game.
No, I'm obsessed with Worm.
I know now. What is he talking about?
I'm now all about Worm, man. I'm all about Worm. That's going to bring us to the end of the show. We did it. We got there. We got to the end. We did have one mailbag question, but I think it's a longer conversation. So I'm gonna ask the question, and I'm gonna let us ponder for a week and have an in-depth conversation. But the question was, and I can't remember who asked it to me, but we'll get that official for next week. But it's basically, what are our hype levels for what's going to happen in year one of Switch 2?
Oh, interesting.
So remember, Switch was huge for indie gaming.
That is an interesting
Is it
question.
Necessary for indie gaming now?
I have thoughts.
Considering you could get a Steam Deck for about the same price.
I have thoughts about that, because now I'm examining like my Switch 2 hype level at this point.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, if you want to support us, you could do so easily just by subscribing and hitting a thumbs up or leaving a comment or something like that, sharing it with your friends. It helps us out so very much. But if you want to help us at a more intricate level, please go to patreon.com/indieRift and give us $1. $1 every month. That's it. And you can come hang out with us in Discord. Andy, is there anything you want to tell the kids before we go?
Yeah, you can buy that rat game, or you can just support us 3 times. You can do that.
No, or you can support us once at the $3 tier.
Once, and buy the rat game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy a rat game and give us $1. That's the best.
Indeed.
It's like that Pawn Stars game, the show. Give us a rat game and $1 for Discord for this indie podcast.
Best I could do is 2 pieces of popcorn and a broken bobby pin. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners. And as always, please be excellent to each other.